The Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
Breaking news in Hartford tonight. A man is in critical condition after police say he was shot several times about 2 hours ago. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Officers received a shot spotter notification at 4 this afternoon about shots that were fired on Albany Avenue. You're taking a live look right now at the scene. Detectives say they found bullets there while they were on scene. They also say a man listed in his 40s was taken to the hospital. There's no word yet on a shooter. Of course, we'll keep you updated during this investigation.
All right, to our top story tonight. Protesters have once again gathered outside the Connecticut state capitol calling for an end to ICE enforcement. Our team was there following the event as investigations continue into incidents from last week's demonstration.
Fox 61's Kay Pattyfit shows us what dozens of protesters are calling for tonight. Kay.
People at Tuesday's protest tell me they want to make it very clear that they are not in support of Trump's administration when it comes to ICE.
I've had enough. I've had enough of Trump. I've had enough of his cruelty.
People from across our state joined together in Hartford almost a week after the deadly shooting involving an ICE agent in Minneapolis.
What happened in Minnesota. That's why I'm here today. I've been at other rallies. I think, it's just the whole picture of the cruelty and the lawlessness of this administration. I think people need to speak up about it, and that's why I'm here.
We saw young people get shot at Kent State, and here we are again, young people getting shot by our government. It's not right. We need to stop it.
There are about 100 people outside of the Capitol Tuesday afternoon, and the message is very clear. They don't agree with what ICE is doing in communities, and they say ICE should really be out of the communities as a whole.
I mean, we all know there's an immigration problem. It has been for a long time. But the way that this is going about it is wrong. I am a Renee Good. I protest quite a bit. That could have been me easily.
Some say they think the country is not heading in a positive direction.
And unfortunately, we're headed towards authoritarianism and a destruction of democracy. We can do better in America.
Some Republican leaders have criticized the protest. They say it's only worsening tensions. In Hartford, Kay Pattyfit, Fox 61.
Quinnipiac University conducted a national poll on how voters feel about the Minneapolis deadly ICE shooting. The results show a majority of voters, 53%, believe the shooting was not justified. 35% think it was justified, and the other 12% didn't offer an opinion. The university says there were differences based on political party and gender. When voters were asked about the way ICE is enforcing immigration law, the survey shows 57% of them do not agree with it, and this number is nearly identical to Quinnipiac's July poll. And we have continuing coverage on the deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis and reaction here at home on our free streaming app, Fox 61 Plus. Stream now and 24/7.
Day 3 of Michelle Troconis' habeas corpus trial brought renewed scrutiny to her original defense. Troconis is serving more than 14 years in prison for helping Fotis Dulos dispose of a body of Jennifer Farber Dulos. She's asking for a new trial. Today, the focus turned to a key legal expert and whether his testimony holds up under pressure. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules has the latest from Rockville Superior Court.
Michael Fitzpatrick, a legal expert, returned to the stand for cross-examination. He testified that Michelle Troconis' former defense attorney's representation of her was insufficient.
So I don't think this is a fruitful line of inquiry.
I would respectfully ask to explore it because I think it also goes to the witness's credibility.
I'll allow you some latitude.
The prosecution heavily questioned Fitzpatrick's credibility as a witness. They mentioned a previous case in 2013 where he was also an expert witness and testified that he tried 35 cases to completion.
You testified under oath that it was 33 cases, not 35 as they testified to in January of 2013.
Yeah, I can't explain that answer in 2013. The numbers that I have given the court in this proceeding are accurate, and they're supported by my CV.
Troconis' defense objected several times during the cross-examination, raising concerns of the relevance of the questioning. The prosecution later mentioned that Fitzpatrick never reviewed Andrew Bowman, her former defense attorney's, notes during his representation of her.
That would be for counsel to do, not for me as an expert.
Okay, did you ever request counsel to request Mr. Bowman's notes?
No, it was not part of the...
Wasn't part of the mandate, right?
It was not part of the mandate.
More testimony is expected later this week. We'll be here following all developments from Rockville Superior Court. In Vernon, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
All right, we have one more day of this winter warm-up before temperatures start easing back into winter reality. And by Friday, we're only looking at highs in the 20s to near 30 degrees. But we knew that would happen eventually, right? It's January. Heading into the day tomorrow, we will see a few showers, but it is not looking like a washout. Here's a look at the numbers out there. Well above average, also above freezing, 30s to right around 40 degrees. And I think tomorrow's even warmer. Even though there are some snow showers on the radar to the west of us, by the time they reach here with temperatures above freezing, those will change over to just rain showers. And that will happen later tonight around or after 10 or 11 o'clock. We'll see a quick shower come on through, and then most of the rest of the overnight hours will be dry. Here's a look at low temperatures tonight, which are actually above the average high temperature for this time of year. Again, a few showers tomorrow, but not a washout. Highs in the upper 40s. One more day. Your full forecast and the changes ahead coming up.
All right, Rach, thanks. And we have this one important note here. Looking ahead to Thursday, the state's cold weather protocol will take effect at 5 p.m. It will last until noon the next day. If you need shelter or a warming center, call 211 or visit 211ct.org. Transportation can be provided if needed as well. Well, Bristol is experiencing its second water main break in the last week. The city's water and sewer department says customers on Oakwood Drive and Fern Hill Road haven't had water since this morning. Crews are there now making repairs. Officials didn't say what caused the main to break. Those who live near the area may be experiencing low water pressure. If you need water, you can bring your own containers to the water filtration plant on Terryville Avenue, and we'll keep you updated as the story develops.
Boil water is still in effect in Thomaston. A water main break has been repaired, but the advisory will remain in place until water samples are collected and tested. Results are expected within the next couple of days. The break was reported yesterday morning. By 7 last night, though, Connecticut Water said the main had been repaired. Officials say the water can be used without boiling for bathing and cleaning, but it still needs to be boiled for cooking and drinking. A road in Southington is back open tonight after it was closed for routine repairs. Part of Center Street closed at 8 this morning while crews worked to make sure worked those water line repairs. The road reopened at 4 this afternoon, and traffic should be back to normal.
Well, now to a story we first told you about last night. A math teacher at Benjamin Jepson Magnet School was arrested over the weekend for exchanging inappropriate texts with a 13-year-old student.
Fox 61's Victoria Anderson talked to local parents who were still processing the news.
New Haven Public Schools in the spotlight today after a mom found inappropriate text on her 13-year-old's phone from a 40-year-old math teacher. An investigation into months of late night and early morning texts between a teacher and his former student led to the arrest of 40-year-old Thomas Fargeorge. The texts were originally brought to police and school officials by the student's mother in late October. In a statement, New Haven Public Schools said, quote, "The teacher has been out of school on administrative leave since October 20th, the same day a parent reported suspicion of inappropriate communication." The statement went on to clarify there have been no previous concerns about Mr. Fargeorge. New Haven police say that while the texts weren't explicitly sexual, they did lead police to charge Fargeorge with 1 count of harmful communication with a minor, which is a misdemeanor offense.
That's the kind of world we live in today. Like, a lot of teachers do things like that, and they really manipulate a child, even if it's a teenager. It's not right.
For New Haven local Taya Hain, these concerns have been on her mind long before she became a mother.
I've had something like that happen to me before, but I was in high school, and it's really serious.
Hain told us the most important part of healing is seeing adults held responsible. Fargeorge is expected to appear in court February 17th. Fargeorge has been released on a $25,000 bond, and New Haven police are asking anyone with any additional information to come forward at this time. In New Haven, Victoria Anderson, Fox 61.
Newington police say they arrested a man and a woman today in connection to multiple burglaries from late October. Mickey Quinones of Hartford appeared in court today on a slew of charges. Investigators say the woman he worked with, Jaisling Rivera of Hartford, will be arraigned early next month. Officers say back in October, the suspects tried to break into a home in the north end of town. We're told the homeowner was home at the time. And later that day, officials say they burglarized a business and then stole a car from the property. Police say the car was involved in a shooting in Hartford afterward.
Police and animal control in Wolcott are searching for a person or people who left a dog for dead on a walking trail. When animal control found the dog, it was so emaciated you could see the ribs. There are pictures, and you may have seen them online, but we're choosing not to show them on TV here. Fox 61's Solene Arif tells us why investigators need help from the public to crack the case.
With no microchip and no dog collar, Animal Control decided to name the dog Winter. They're working with police to look at cameras around this walking trail that could help them find who abandoned Winter in these woods. If you take a right at the front entrance, you'll see this big tree where Winter was found by someone walking the trail. Winter was covered in snow, so Animal Control thinks she had been out there for days before she was found. Winter was sent to Yukon for a necropsy to learn more about how she died. Police Chief Edward Stevens says their Animal Control is a part of their police department, so they work very closely on these cases. He says outside of severe emaciation, there were no signs of trauma on the dog like broken bones, and they believe Winter was left here after she died. Chief Stevens says anyone who calls Wolcott Police or Animal Control with information can stay anonymous.
You know, I know it's an animal, but it's still just to let an animal, die like that. It's terrible. Any investigation, you're going to run into challenges. The thing is, if you stay on it, you get witnesses, you check video cameras, we solve most of these crimes.
Animal Control tells me they expect the necropsy results to come in later this week. In Wolcott, Solene Arif, Fox 61.